What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Nonboy back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a team consisting of Galarian Stunfisk and double grass flyers. So ever since the Walrein nerf, a lot of the grass types like Venusaur, Trevenant, and these two here on the screen have been more prominent lately, and a pretty common team that's been floating around is Galarian Stunfisk with Sableye or Trevenant, or Galarian Stunfisk with double grass. So usually it's the Jumpluff with a Trevenant, but I don't have a Trevenant, so I'm going to be running this variant of double grass flyer with the Tropius instead. So without further ado, let's get into these matches. So first match here, we have the Stunfisk into the Azumarill, and this isn't too bad for Stunfisk, especially if the Azumarill doesn't know Hydro Pump, but since we have two better answers for it in the back, we're going to swap into our Jumpluff here. And the Jumpluff, in my opinion, is a better safe swap, since a lot of times, like if the matchup isn't too favorable or it's like kind of neutral, the acrobatics and like the charge move pressure from the Jumpluff is a lot better than the Tropius. So in this situation though, like it would have been more favorable to have the Tropius aligned to this Trevenant here, but the opponent makes a pretty big mistake and goes for the bait. So now I should be able to take out this Trevenant, send it to the Shadow Realm quick, and they don't want any of that smoke, so they dip out of that matchup. GG's to the opponent. Next match here, we have the Trevenant mirror match, or not Trevenant, the Galarian Stunfisk mirror match, and I'm going to try to catch an Earthquake on my Jumpluff here, but it ends up being a Rock Slide, which is kind of unfortunate for us. And they swap into the Altaria here, and this is kind of what I meant in the last battle, where the Jumpluff with the energy throwing the charge moves is kind of more useful in like situations that aren't as favorable for either your back two Pokemon. So now we're gonna bring in our Galarian Stunfisk here, and the Altaria was kind of in an awkward health range where one Rock Slide isn't gonna KO it, so we're gonna have to throw two, but I'm going to build up a lot of extra energy so that I have some energy to fight back against the Galarian Stunfisk if it comes in. So they bring in their Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going to shield this, and thankfully I shield the Earthquake correctly, and since they are ahead on energy, if I go straight Earthquake and they shield everything, then they're going to outpace me to their Earthquakes. But I'm going to play a little risky here and call that this is just a Rock Slide, and I'm going to throw my Earthquake, and we should be in an okay position now, since even if they shield this, we should be able to get to another Earthquake in time. And they decide to throw a Rock Slide here, and I'm just going to shield that, and hopefully the opponent doesn't make a catch, and I'm able to take their Galarian Stunfisk out. So now it's just up to what's in the back, and the Venusaur is in the back, and one Sludge Bomb shouldn't KO us from this range, and we should be able to farm down the Venusaur before it takes us out. So GG's to that opponent. Next match, we have the Galarian Stunfisk into Swampert. So we have two good answers to this in the back, so we're just going to switch out, and they bring in a Walrein. And this is kind of what we're hoping to avoid with this team, or at least if we do see it, we want to see it in the front, since it wrecks both our back two Pokemon. As you can see, that Icicle Spear from the Shadow Walrein one-shot our Jumpluff, since it's double super effective. So now we're in a pretty rough spot, since essentially now it's going to be up to our Tropius to 2v1 like the Swampert and whatever happens to be in the back. Like our Galarian Stunfisk here is awfully low, and we're not going to have it aligned to anything to where it's going to be useful, since the Swampert's going to be coming back in. And they have the Drapion here, and I'm just going to play this out, since, I mean, depending on what charge moves they throw, I should be in an okay position, but I kind of mess up here. Like, as you can see, I threw 2 air slashes before throwing my leaf blade, and it wasn't a CMP tie, which means that they got a whole poison, like whatever their fast move is, through. And that's actually going to make a pretty big difference here. Like, you ideally, against a 2-turn fast move, if you're playing a 3-turn like air slashes, you want to throw on odd intervals. And because of that, they're able to get to a sludge bomb before I can take them out, and that kind of cost me the game there. Still would have been pretty close, like they might have taken me out with their Swampert, but next match we're met with an Altaria lead, and they swap into their Registeel, which is pretty interesting. A really common team would be Altaria, the Registeel, and the Toxicroak. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, and I'm fine with staying in here, but I do want to preserve the health on my Galarian Stunfisk, since I know that it's going to be kind of necessary against the Altaria. And I swap in my Jumpluff since I'm going to use it to just soak up damage here, since I know it's going to be stuck against the Altaria. So I don't really care if it ends up being very low, as long as I'm able to maintain the alignment that I want. And they bring their Altaria back in. Acrobatics is going to do quite a bit of damage, but it's still going to be in that health range where I still need 2 Rock Slides to take it out. But as long as the opponent's third Pokemon is the Toxicroak, we're in a very solid position. But I did showcase a team earlier that included the Water Gun Lantern as a safe swap. And instead of the Registeel, I used Galarian Stunfisk. So there are some variations to like the Altaria lead team, but typically you'll see some sort of steel type, usually Registeel and the Toxicroak. So that ends up being the case, and I'm going to shield this up since I'm pretty sure it takes us out from this health range, and our Galarian Stunfisk and our Tropius should be able to take care of the Altaria, and the opponent concedes the match. So next match, this is a very rough lead for us. So we go ahead and swap into our safe swap, and we're hard countered by the Skarmory. Like, the Skarmory does really well against the Grass Flyer, since they're able to hit you for super effective damage, and all your moves that you're throwing at them are going to be resisted. And here you want to go for the Acrobatics, since it is only single resisted, whereas the Energy Ball would be double resisted, since the Skarmory is a steel and a grass type. So not an ideal situation. The opponent does a nice little undercharge there to get some extra energy, and we're going to have to throw a Rock Slide to get rid of this thing, but my goal is to overfarm a little bit here so that I have some energy to threaten what comes in next. But I mess up and I throw one too many like charge moves or fast moves, and we CMP them, which is like the worst thing that could have happened in this situation. But we're still in a pretty bad spot anyways. Like, even if we were able to maintain some health on our Galarian Stunfisk, the Nidoqueen would have just taken us out, and the extra health on our Stunfisk wouldn't have really done us all that much good. So yeah, this was a pretty fun team. I would recommend you try it, but if you do have the Trevenant, I would probably use that instead of the Tropius. So yeah, that's all for today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also submit your battles in the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.